Hello, I'm Miles Heenahan, the co-founder of Wires Uncrossed and creator of the hierarchy of engineering needs. This is a quick overview of the HoEN model and more specifically how we apply it in organizations to help, first of all, surface up key constraints for the software delivery system. And then with those constraints in mind, what's the most effective sequence of engineering initiatives across maybe people, process, and technology to alleviate those constraints to performance. You can see a lot more information about the model online on our website and also details of the definitions on GitHub or on engineeringneeds.io. But a quick refresher, the reason that teams often get stuck, or reasons that they often get stuck in trying to break through to something like a continuous delivery level performance are usually come across as 5 groups. So measurement, organizations or teams often end up measuring what they can instead of what they should on performance, comparing is this month better or worse to last month. Tooling and automations, the DevOps scene has now given an ocean of tools to automate an ocean of problems or processes. However, without the right skills and experience, it's very easy to automate a process that just really shouldn't be there or isn't fit for purpose. And without the right roles being created, the organization may not have even realized that those capabilities or roles need to be created. So we end up then with a more common situation of, although everybody recognizes the value and strategic advantage in moving towards continuous delivery, there are just too many things that could be done, and it is unclear or very challenging as to how to figure out what are the few things to say yes to and the many, many more things to say no or not now to, across architecture, technology, ways of working, you name it. So the key to dealing with this dilemma is engineering teams need to have a pretty effective prioritization loop over something like perhaps a 6-monthly basis or some cadence that's appropriate to them. So over that period, we need to make a diagnosis of what are the key constraints holding us back. And that diagnosis needs to be broadly right, but precisely wrong, because everything will, given time, change again. Then based on our diagnosis, we need to start stack ranking engineering bets or processes on initiatives for the most impact. And then we actually have to go and do those things we said we would do. And then repeat the process. Did we have the impact? Have things changed? Should we now focus on investment elsewhere? So this cycle has proved very effective to teams who have attained and continue to attain high levels of software delivery over the long run. This is core to what Wires Uncrossed does or helps organizations with. Take those jumbled up wires of too many competing good ideas, sequence them, show people what's the best path, how to validate and repeat the process. And the HoEN model is key to how we do that, specifically on the diagnose and decide phases. When we do a diagnosis with an organization, we begin with the overall 40 needs. This is version 7 that's on screen. And our mission is to remove as many of these as possible to focus our energy on the ones that count most. So first phase, the assessment gives a maturity heat map for each of the 40. We do a range of 5 different or up to 5 different exercises that use a variety of qualitative and quantitative techniques. And that gives us a rating. So which ones are no or non-existent or low, which ones are being appropriately met for now, and which ones we can maybe ignore for a period. So with the heat map, we can then move on to the next phase, which is where are the biggest opportunities for improvement? What could we improve? This then starts to focus us down on more of the needs that actually might need attention. But the question is, which ones, how do we actually rank them top to bottom? So which of these are more important than others? Now in here, there is a bit of the model that we don't share online, but there are dependency links across these needs. Some of them you can intuitively infer. And we also have a weighting system of attributes that each need is more valuable or less valuable towards contributing. Making sense of that, suffice to say, we take the key opportunities and then we talk about your strategic trade-offs that are appropriate for your organization or company or business unit. What do you need your software delivery system to do more over another? Just like in cars, we can chase a car design that is straight up on performance, or a car design that is incredibly reliable, or a car design that is easy to mass produce. But the reality is it's infeasible to pursue all of those attributes equally all of the time. So given those dimensions and some others that come through in the process, we can then move on to the last diagnosis stage, which is stack ranking those opportunities into ones that are more important than others. An example on screen, quality engineering and operational performance were indeed issues. However, the overarching constraint was environment management. So even though there are controls that are not yet really effective, we still don't have any way to actually run those controls early and often enough in the life cycle. So this finishes the diagnosis, and now we can move into the deciding phase. So given those key constraints, we also break into symptoms as to how those constraints are actually turning up in your organization. And we've also got from that assessment process the signals and measures that we use to validate the impact of them, or whether or not it is a true constraint or opportunity. And this information we can come back to afterwards once we've taken some action. Did we have the improvement we thought we would? And is it still, do we still need to invest more? So with constraints, symptoms, signals, and measures, then we can get to the now easier part of bringing back in many competing ideas, some of which the organization has been trading off already, and then other ones we might introduce. But an example here, an environment management initiative to make it just easy to spin up new environments pre-production. That came to the top because it had a direct positive contribution to many of the key constraints and the more important ranked constraints. So this is, in this example, this is one that we introduced to the organization, but there may be others. And then with our constraints actually ranked and identified, it makes it a lot easier to say no or not now to many initiatives and just focus our energy on ones that we have the capacity to do. And if they compete with each other, we now have the information as to which initiative should be ranked higher than the other. So that is the overall process we go through in applying HoEN to, first of all, diagnose your key constraints. With that diagnosis, make some decisions on what are the actual things that are feasible and possible that we could or should be doing, and then do the process and then repeat it and validate have we expected. You can find more about HoEN online, as I said, and these links on screen. But for now, thank you for watching and look forward to working with you soon.